Hi, Hearties. Welcome to Heart, our chat with our cast and crew for When Calls the Heart. I'm Dawn Bateman, and I'm from Wiley, Texas.
I'm Annette. I'm a Hearties admin from South Carolina.
And I'm Jen, and I'm from Seattle, Washington.
And today we're welcoming our Wrangler, Jamie Payton.
Welcome, Jamie.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad to be with you guys.
Many of us have had the pleasure to go to Jamestown movie set, and I think you live there, right?
Yeah, I live there when I'm in town. I live there. I live in 3 hours east in Kamloops is where I base my house in the summer, and then in the winter I'm in Phoenix or on set. And when I'm not set down here at the coast, I live right in Jamestown.
Perfect. So how many years have you been with When Calls the Heart?
I've been right from the start when Michael and Jr. came right out to us, and I built Jamestown with Rod and Wendy, and that's why we call it Jamestown, because Rod's middle name's James, and I'm actually Norman James Payton. So we named it Jamestown.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, and so we started with four buildings from Scary Movie, and then I came in there and I worked on Scary Movie, and I worked on some other sets on Rod's place. And Rod come to me and we talked about building a Western town. Rod said, I've always wanted to do it. And I said, that's my dream too. Let's do it. And Rod says, you build it, I'll supply the land. So I hired some set dressers and some carpenters, and we went to building, and we built Jamestown. Not as pretty as it is now, because When Calls Heart, Brian and Michael and Jr. came and had a meeting with us. And Michael and I hit it off really well. And I said to Michael, if you come here, we'll give you a hell of a deal. We'll give you everything I got horse-wise and everything, and we'll get this rolling. And Michael shook my hand and says, you got a deal. We're going to make it happen. Brian drove in and said, we got to go look at another town. And Michael stood by his word and said, I made a deal with Jamie. We're staying right here. And we hit it off, and it just rolled from there. And it's been a beautiful time and awesome ever since then.
Wow, that is a story.
Well, the Hearties are really enjoying seeing the horses front and center last season, and episode 10 was no exception. Newton walked behind Nathan and Faith without being held by the lead, and we gather he accomplished that in very few takes. How did you manage that trick?
Yeah, well, Nate's got a pretty good relationship with Noodles, or not Noodles. I call him Robin, but with his cast name. But he's got a really good relationship with him, and he feeds him treats every time he sees them. So they have that communication. And that horse got a real good personality. And when he gets hooked on to somebody like with him, he'll do anything with him. He won't leave him stranded in the bush or nothing. I mean, he can get off him and run anywhere, and that horse just stands there. And then if he starts walking off and he wants him to come, he just clicks and says, come on, buddy, let's go. And he'll follow him anywhere to go.
Oh, that is so sweet. We love hearing that. So in episode 9, there was some exciting stuff. We got a full gallop, rifle work to shoot and stop the bad guy from getting away. So tell us about filming that epic Mountie scene.
That was a good scene to shoot. We also did a little bit of trickery there. We had a mechanical horse too that we did a lot of the rifle stuff on to make it clear. But he actually did the whole chase scene. We had a double for him, but we don't use the double that much because Nathan, he took it pretty good. He liked it, and he picked it the rifle scene up pretty good. And so the galloping and the rifle stuff a lot of it was him, and it came together. It didn't bother the horse at all with him picking the gun up, going and shooting, and it worked out real good.
That is really fascinating. Well, about more scenes with Newton, Pam Wallace-Heyer from Akron, Ohio was wondering, was it hard to get Nathan's horse to act injured and skittish even though the injury wasn't real?
Well, not really. I mean, I had doubles. I have R1 and R2.
Oh, okay.
Which, folks thought
like I said, Newton's real name, since he was raised, we call him Robin. So I have 2 other horses that have come up by the same mother. We call them R1 and R2, and they're younger. So they filled in the spooky scenes. I had those two come in there, and we changed them off to get a little more spooky. I mean, it's not easy to get a spooky horse to spook, because that's the opposite of what we want. But they're young enough that we can get some spooky out of them, make it look the part. And then at the end of that scene, we actually brought Newton back in, and then Newton did what Newton does best. He shows his kindness and his beautiness to the actress and the actor on that scene.
Oh, we loved it. It was amazing. And just one quick question for me. The Hearties are wondering what breed of horse Newton is.
He's actually a quarter horse Frisian cross.
Frisian. Some folks have guessed Frisian.
Yeah, and he's by a Frisian stud that I own.
Oh, he's beautiful.
So sticking with some more Hearties questions, Anita Adams DeBrossi from Dayton, Ohio wants to know, was the horse that May treated, actually, I think we've already covered this. The horse that May treated after the auto accident, was it Newton or was it a different horse?
No, that was actually Newton. We actually put all the makeup on Newton in the stall, and that was Newton. We wanted to use on the really close up of that scene. We actually used Newton in the stall.
Okay.
All right. And then Sharon Stone Jackson from Cheshire, Washington wants to know, how many horses are there total for When Calls the Heart? And are there other Wranglers besides yourself, or is it just you?
No, there's other Wranglers. I have Carrie Hansen that worked a couple of seasons and fills in here and there for me. And Mitch Glanville works for me. So I have other 2 Wranglers. And then I have about 60, 75 head of horses any time of the year, because I do other movies. And so I pick from if we need a different seat. But the main, like Hermiston, I call him Hermiston, that's Jack's horse. And then I still have Taylor. Oh, Taylor, I call him, but he's Daniel's old horse, or was, now it's Elizabeth's horse.
Right.
And I have 3 doubles for him. And I have 3 doubles for Newton. And then I have the bay team that goes on the stagecoach, or now I put them on a carriage or a vis-a-vis now, because we're getting more and more into cars. So we're kind of getting the carriages a little fancier, like they were coming into 1910. I think we're in that year now. So I have quite a few horses. And then if we need to change things up and the script asks for a different kind of horse, then we go for a different look.
So how many are on Jamestown when we're filming?
When I film it, I have about 10 there, 10 to 15.
Okay.
And then that's my base camp for other movies. So when we're filming, if I have another show going on, I could have up to 20, 25 head there. Like I said, I there, and I train actors out of there too. So sometimes COVID was kind of tough because I couldn't cross production with another production. So that was kind of a tough deal. But usually, even if When Calls the Heart's going on and I'm training some other actors from another show, they'll be there. And we'll train them at camp there at Jamestown.
Interesting. Yeah, Chris was talking about how he kind of learned, and that was with you on this set. And he's a good writer. I thought that he was,
Chris picked it up very, very quick. He is very athletic and very good rider. And I was quite surprised myself. And he really enjoys it. Chris, anytime Chris could ride, he'd be at the barn going, Jamie, can I ride a horse? Okay, Chris, let's get on a horse. Let's go for a ride. He really got into it and really loved it. And it was the good scenes that we had with Chris and Aaron riding was really fun. I mean, Aaron loves riding too. So they kind of both hit it off. There was a lot of galloping scenes we did. I don't know how much they put on camera, but we did quite a bit of.
Yeah, I really loved that. Especially, it was like season 8 that they, Elizabeth and Lucas did the full gallop, and they were racing each other and things like that. So love that scene.
Like I said, that was a fun scene to do. They were motoring. I mean, there was no doubles. That was them straight up.
I love it.
We actually had doubles planned to do it, and they were there. But Aaron and Kevin wanted to do it on their own, and we pulled it off. And we never did use doubles, and it was a great scene.
Oh, good. You're talking about Chris, right? Not Kevin?
Chris, sorry. Yeah,
Yeah,
Chris.
okay, okay. Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, that's interesting. So we were talking with Nate with transportation, and he was talking about all of the challenges for the Model Ts and things like that. So in your world, we have a question with Joelle Stevens Jordan from Flint, Michigan. She was asking, what is the most challenging thing when dealing with horses on set and getting them to stand on their mark?
Well, standing on the mark's not too bad. Most of my horses got patience because that's what I pick and through my movie horses to get horses with patience. The hardest thing is, and I hate to be negative, but is new crew members not knowing about animals. And we got to be very careful, especially when we're hooked to wagons or carriages. And they're there because they have blinders on the side of them. They can't see them. And a lot of people just come up beside them with umbrellas and stuff like that. So we're kind of on the alert. And sometimes it's not fair to the animal because all of a sudden out of nowhere, right beside them or right close to them, an umbrella will pop up because they think it's going to rain. So they're trying to cover the actor. And it's not the animal. It's just, that's the worst problems that we ever have.
Yeah.
It is crew. And I hate to say it. I mean, crew are getting better, but like people start off in the movie business because they just don't know the best job, and their job may be trying to keep the actor dry because of her hair or his wardrobe, but not realizing that the animal right beside him all of a sudden sees an umbrella, and he may not see it, just hears it. And it triggers them and moves them around and stuff like that, and gets them nervous.
Yeah. Well, and how many years have you been dealing with horses for, your whole career, or just?
No, I've been dealing with my horses all my life, but I've been in the movie business. It was funny because I just did a big article in a roping magazine, Ariat Roping magazine in the States. They did a big article about my career and what I do in the movie business and stuff because I team rope in Phoenix. But anyways, I started when I was 12 years old with a guy named John Scott. I was just talking to him today, and he's been in the business for a lot of years. He's 81 years old, and he's still doing the business.
Wow.
In the movie. And he put me in a show called Harry Tracy with Bruce Stern. And I got kicked out of grade 7. I got kicked out of school. And he came in my parents' Western store back then. And then he said, "Hey, do you want a job on a movie?" And I said, "Yeah, let's do that." And I went over to Victoria when I was a kid and worked on this movie. And then after that, he kept on calling me. And every year I just kept on doing more movies, more. And then eventually just kind of drifted on myself. But he's always been there for me. So if I need horses or wagons or anything I need, he's always there. And we've always been friends. And we just talked about that today. I've been with him. I'm 56 years old. I've been with him almost 44 years.
Wow. Wow.
That's amazing.
What a great legacy.
Yeah. And he's a great guy. Still going. Yeah, he's pretty cool.
I love it.
Well, we have another question from a Heartie, Kay Lewis Smith from Lake Gaston, North Carolina, says she noticed a big black majestic horse pulling a wagon through town in episode 8. And she rewound several times so she could really appreciate his beauty. Can you tell us about this horse and what you have to do to drive the team in the wagon scenes?
Yep, you betcha. That horse there is I have Kurt and Danny, they're called. They're 2 horses named off 2 other guys in the movie business when I bought them. And yeah, it's kind of funny, but they're my competition, actually. The Kurt and Danny Kurt Jarrett, they're my competition. So when I bought these horses, I bought one off Kurt that I call Kurt, and the other one, it was irritating me a lot, so I called him Danny. And so I called Kurt and Danny, and they've been with me, and they're good horses. And that one there, that particular one, is a Percheron Frisian cross.
Oh, that's why it's so beautiful.
And I've used them on many, many shows as riding and driving. And they're pretty good. They're getting retired now. They're getting a little older now. So I'll probably retire them the next year. And I'll give them to somebody for a company horse, and they won't have to work hard. They won't do much, but they've been good. And he's a big horse, real big horse.
Yeah.
They're about 1,600 pounds, and they're about 16-1.
Wow.
Well, in one of our earlier chats with director Neil Fernley, he told us that the horses reacted to the words ho, ho, ho in a Christmas procession. And are there other examples you can think of when the horses might have been spooked or distracted by something like that on set?
Well, not so much, yeah, with ho, 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 because it's like, whoa. So that's why. So we'd be like, in that particular scene that he's talking about was a Christmas season. I had the Santa Claus. And we're trotting through town, and all of a sudden Santa starts going ho ho ho, and my horses stop.
Oh, that's what it was.
The bay team that they're talking about that was pulling them is a scene that my daughter drove, and they're very well broken. They pull the stagecoach every time, but they're very well broke. So you could be flat out galloping and say whoa, and they're stopping. So in that particular, every time I'd go by, Neil would say, the Santa to go ho ho ho, and I said, Neil, we got a problem here. You can't say that because my horses think he's saying whoa, and they stop. He goes, and then he couldn't figure out, why are you stopping, Jamie? I go, because he's saying ho 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 means whoa whoa whoa. And another one with my day team and Newton is when you say roll camera, they know they got to go, and when they say roll in action, and like Peter is very switched on. Neil always says action, but Peter will say, Jamie, go ahead, or proceed, because the horses get very tuned up, and especially being in the movie business a long time, they know the difference between roll, action, and they know cut. Cut means stop. Like, hey, we're easy, we're good. So yeah, they know the names very well.
Wow.
Smart horses.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
my.
they get tuned into action very quick.
Do they perform?
Oh yeah, every horse I use in the movie business got to have personality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they got to have patience, because they, like, I just had one today, we just did a Hutterite deal that an Amish deal, not a Hutterite, an Amish deal. We're at Amish funeral, and I got a horse called Bonnie and Clyde, a team. Clyde was there by himself, and he just sat there for 6 hours. You got to have lunch. You got an hour break for lunch. 6 hours doing all the dialogue, because they were taking the casket off the back of the Amish wagon, and he had to sit there with the driver for 6 hours. But like I said, he got an hour to have a break and pee and all that. But yeah, they got to have patience. And he basically sleep and said, okay, do what you guys got to do, whatever. I'm going to have a sleep. No.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think it was season 5, and the procession with the Mounties. And
Yep.
there's a lot of, we had wagons, we had people on horse, walking. Is that like a bigger scene that you have to deal with as a Wrangler, or any horse on the set is same kind of thing? Or
Yeah. Just like you said, in that situation, I think I had 4 or 5 Wranglers working that day, because I also had guys driving them, and then I had 3 or 4 people watching them and helping them on set to get everything set. So we had, like, more wagons you get, the more Wranglers you get.
okay.
And you got to have people on the ground, because if you flip a rein or a bridle slips or something breaks or a wheel breaks or anything can go wrong, you got somebody outside the box, because you're in behind the steering wheel, and you can't just jump out of the box, because you got to hold those 2 horses or 1 horse you got a
Right.
hold of. So in that situation, we just have to have more Wranglers than that. More than saddle horses, you can get away with a little more. But when you
Sure.
got wagon carriages, you got to have Wranglers.
Yeah, I remember that they needed to reset 2 or 3 times, because it was the idea that it's going to be a long procession, and they clip it. I think that was Dan's last season. So
Yep, that
we saw him doing, he was bending down and doing that whole procession in his phone. It was really interesting. So
Yeah, no, it was good. I just worked with Daniel on another show here not long ago. We did
Oh,
a little
cool.
a deal in Kelowna with him. He flew in for like 4 days, and we did a horse scene. It was good to see him. I haven't seen him for 2 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was good. doing fantastic. He just got married in the last year, and yeah, it was a lot of fun out, and yeah, it was fun.
Did he get to see Taylor?
Yeah, he rode him.
Yay!
Oh,
Yeah.
how fun.
Yeah,
Oh,
he got to ride him, so it was good. He got to see him and ride him, and the horse remembered him. It was pretty cool.
oh, I love it.
Oh, special.
We've got a couple more Hearties questions. Suzanne Bobo from San Diego, California is wondering, a lot of times most of the time, the horses' names that they use on screen is different than the ones that they actually are called, that you've named them. And how do the horses differentiate? Do they know their on-screen name and then the name that you've given them, or?
Yeah, like Newton, I call him Robin all the time, but Newton goes by, he knows that name.
Oh,
And,
really?
With Nathan calling him Newton and everything, he gets hooked up to that name. I mean, sometimes when I call him Robin, he doesn't even look at me. If Kevin comes around or Aaron comes around, they call him like with I call Taylor, but Sargeant. When Aaron's around and calls Taylor Sargeant, like I don't even, when they're filming, he doesn't even, and no one even knows him as Taylor. It's Sargeant. And
Oh,
Eric comes in and said, "Where's Sargeant?" He's out the head gate. I mean, he's out over the stall looking, going, because all these actors, they love feeding the horses.
Yeah.
And you know, Lori with us, she was a real horse lady, and Kevin and Chris, all those guys, they're in the barn. They spend a lot of time in the barn with the horses.
Yeah.
And that's the first thing they say. Hey, where is everything? Where are the horses at?
Yeah.
Where's Taylor? Or not Taylor? They call him Sargeant. Where's Sargeant? Or where's Newton?
Yeah.
And we had a lot of fun when we brought R1 and R2, because R1 and R2 are like doubles. And they go, "How come he's being strange, not coming to me?" Goes, "That's not him.
Wrong horse.
Look on the other side of you." And they go, "Hey, you tricked us." Even when we did the scene, a lot of people, they're doing their makeup, they're doing everything else. They didn't realize we switched horses. And then Kevin goes in there, and then he going, "What's wrong with Newton? How come he's so spooky?" I go, "That's your scene." He goes, "How'd you get to do that?" I go, "That's not him." Oh, really? If I can't tell, I don't think anybody else is going to tell.
Right. Oh my word.
that's amazing.
That's just so interesting. Yeah, I love that with Taylor Sargeant, the tone that Elizabeth, talking to the horse itself. I like that relationship, and I want to see more. I think in When Calls the Heart.
When Elizabeth was getting close to Kevin or Chris or Nathan, when she was trying that love triangle, trying to do it, that horse was around, he would get in between them, and I have to pull him back. And he did the same thing with Daniel and Aaron back in the day. He did not like anybody near Aaron. Or
Really?
hooked on to Daniel, it was when Aaron would walk up to Daniel to kiss him or get close to him, Sargeant would walk in between them, and I'd have to pull him back, and they'd say, "Get him back out of the scene. Get him back out of the scene." He would block them.
It's like a little kid with their parents.
And it goes, "Hey, it's not about them. It's about me." And I move over. And same with Newton, but he's more when Chris and him are trying to have dialogue and be friendly, he would push Chris out of the way, kind of, or he'd push Kevin out of the way so he could get in front of the camera. And they go, "Jamie, it's not all about him. Don't let him push you over." And I'd pull him back, then he'd walk ahead and get in the shot more. It's pretty hilarious because they know where the camera is. Like, they're not dumb. They can figure it out. Like, this camera's about me, not you. And it's pretty hilarious.
Oh my word!
Or
That is so funny.
if he's talking to somebody else, what Newton will do is he will bump him, like push him with his nose, like, "Hey, I'm over here.
Right.
Pay attention to me."
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's
You know,
pretty-
Hearties has kind of picked up on that. They've been
Oh,
doing
yeah.
fan art with Newton.
like the behind the scenes. If a lot of people could see these horses behind the scenes, some of the stuff, it's kind of funny.
That is, we need more.
Yeah,
need
we love
more.
these
Yeah.
stories.
And I'll tell
Jamie,
you
we
what,
need more.
Tinker's doing a great job putting more horses in and everything. I'm always bugging Tinker and go, get some more horses in there. The hell with these cars. Like I wanted next year, and Tinker and I talked about it, and it was with Chris and Kevin when their character was chasing Aaron, or they're both chasing Aaron. I said to Tinker, I said, you know what? Let's put City Guy on his bike and put Nathan on his horse, and let's have a horse race. And then at the last minute, my theory was let Aaron give Soldier to Chris, and then Kevin and Chris have a race, Soldier against Newton. The old against the new.
Oh,
A town. He said, well, let's talk about it next year. And I said, those are the lead horses, the two guys of the town, and the winner gets Aaron.
okay. That's
So
almost evil, Jamie. That's just evil.
I bug both those guys all the time because they both are kind of competitive, even though like normal people. And I go, hey guys, who's gonna win the race? He says, no, don't gonna go there. I go, come on, I'm getting Tinker to write it. You two are gonna have to race, and no stand up. You guys are on. He goes, Chris is always bugging. I'll kick his butt. Don't worry about that. I'll kick his butt. And he's going, really? We'll see about that. Even if we don't do it on camera, we can do it in the arena. I'm in. Let's do it, guys. Yeah. And then
Just do
they're
it,
bugging me.
and I'll
No,
take.
you gotta be safe. You gotta be safe. Come on, I gotta look after him. I go, no, it's just a race. Don't worry about it.
Well,
Yeah.
Kevin already told us that Sargent could beat that motorcycle or the car in any
Oh, yeah.
time. And they kept
Oh, yeah.
having to hold him back and redo it.
Oh yeah. Sargent would beat Newton because Newton's a little lazy and fat. Yeah, he'd probably beat him.
He just saunters.
Yeah.
Fine.
He's
Yeah,
not
Newton
very-
is very majestic the way he prances, but he's not
Oh, no,
fast
it's
yourself.
so
huh?
good.
No.
That's so good.
No,
That
no,
is so
he's
funny.
like,
Did
I
you?
love their personalities.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Chris, we talked to him about a month ago, and he was talking about you and loving horses, and we were talking about the horse riding, things like that. And he said, "Oh yeah,
Jamie, the horse wrangler, is just like the most solid person ever. He's an authentic cowboy. I feel like he could break his arm and be like, "Yeah, it's fine. It's all good."
I can see that."
Super tough, and I feel like a flimsy daisy next to him.
I mean, okay, I go, I'm good. Well, let's do it. Whatever. I rode it all my life, and rode bucking horses since I was a little kid. And I retired from rodeoing when I was 30. And but that's how we were brought up. You get bucked off or you get hurt, you don't tell anybody. You just roll on
Yeah.
because nobody wants to listen to you getting hurt or whining. And that's the way we brought up. And then that's just the way. The last thing anybody wants to know if you're hurt.
Yeah.
And you suck it up and go on. It's all good.
So another question. Renee Robertson from Oregon wants to know: have any of the cast members overcome a fear of horses, and which cast member has the most experience with horses and riding? So I think Aaron. Aaron's pretty good. There's no fear in Aaron, and Chris and Kevin are good. There's no fear in them. They're really good. And I'm trying to think. Oh, there was one person that was a little bit, but it was an actor that came on for the episode. I can't remember who it was. Yeah, I can't really remember. Majority of the people are pretty good. There is a few that are a little bit nervous here and there, and they try not to show it to us. And but we can pick up on it right away, and the animal picks up on it right away. Sure.
I mean, we could tell right away, and they're standing back, and they're kind of don't want to pet them or touch the horse. And I'm pretty just kind of the way I just tell it the way it is. I go, hey, you're gonna have to ride this horse. So you better get close now because you're gonna be on top of him in 10 minutes. We're gonna move on. And so suck it up.
Yeah.
the horse is safe. It's not going to hurt anything, and we're right here beside you.
Yeah.
But not many of the ones that I can remember. There has been a few over the years, but I can't really remember them. Majority of them are pretty good, and we'll hang on to them. Like if we got to cheat the shot, they're a little nervous, and they tell us that, we'll hang on to the reins from a distance, and we'll cut up above us, and
Oh, wow.
we'll read in. And I'll go to if like Peter or Neil, and I'll say, hey, they're a little gun shy. We got to keep them, and we'll just cut the shot out where we only have to trot them in 10 feet.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll cheat it that way. And we'll use doubles if we have to. But majority of the time, everybody's pretty good. And they see everybody else riding like Aaron and Kevin. And they don't want to be the one that doesn't know how to ride or doesn't want to ride. Even Martin. Yeah, even Martin. He can't ride that well. He's one that can't ride that well, but he tries. But he's funny because I bug him all the time. And he's one. Hey, I said, hey, get back on this horse. You got to ride more. Whoa. No. I'm good. I go, no, I heard Tinker's going to write you up a big. No. I like the car. I like my car. So he is probably one. And he doesn't ride that well, but he tries. He really tries. He's funny. But I do bug quite a bit.
Well, Chris was saying there's the blonde one that's the most gentle, that's like the beginner horse. Is that?
Yep. I think he's talking about, it might be Tucker he's talking about, or no, maybe Bugs. He might be talking about Bugs.
Yeah, that was the one. I think May was entered the city with that one.
Yeah, that was Bugs.
Okay, yeah.
Bugs. And then we had that year we had whatever episode it was, the girl that played, the actress, she's been around for years. She played Daniel's mom.
Brooke Shields. Brooke Shields.
Yeah, Brooke Shields. That was one of my favorite. That was one of the actors I really enjoyed working with and I got to see. But she rode Bugs too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was cool.
Wow. Yeah. Now I have to go through and all the seasons, the 9 seasons, to see if I can see.
I can't believe it goes quick, man. It's gone really quick. 9 years.
Well, we were there at HFR and the Hearties family reunion, and I did the tour at Hope Valley, and that's the first thing I would do. I'd greet all of the horses, and
the one year they did, I wasn't there. I had a guy working. It was on the weekend, and I had a rope in somewhere, or I had another commitment anyways when the Hardy had a party. And Ryan, one of the guys that was wrangling for me, the Brian Beaver came over to him and said, Ryan, can you put Soldier away? Because we need to get the people to come and look at come and see the actors. And more people were coming to see Taylor or Soldier than they were the actors back then.
Yeah, that was the first one. One. They had him in his full garb, and that was, and Taylor, he was jumping. I don't know. I thought that he was thinking that I had an apple. Anyway, he was just chomping on my hand, and I'm like, I don't have anything. What are you doing?
Yeah.
But he's
from
personality.
Well, the actors. Well, Daniel and all the actors, they always want to feed the horses, and we're always trying to cut them back. Said, guys, every time you feed them, that's where they get to nudging you because they think they're getting fed, and you're trading them to nudge you.
Right.
And I don't feed them, and I hate it because I'm hanging on to them, and they keep on bumping me. I'll be trying to somebody, and they're pushing me out of the way because they want to get fed, and that is the biggest thing. And we let some actors feed them and that, and it gets to a point that we just let them do it, and we try to tell the horse, go ahead and feed them, whatever.
So how many, so you've had a lot of experience with movies and things like that. What kinds of things that you haven't done that you want to do in, especially for Wind Calls the Heart? Anything like that?
Well, yeah, there's some like that horse race I really want to do. I think that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah.
I want to see some more carriages, some more interest, but that's me because it's horse stuff, right?
Right.
But I think there should be some more. I kind of like Tinker, the way he's writing it, it kind of reminds me of Heartland in a way, like communication. But I think we need more of the horses, like the kids. Like I
Yeah.
want to see more kids, even in this day and age. I think if kids had horses instead of video games, they would know what a relationship is. So many kids are to their phones and texting, Wi-Fi, FaceTiming, but no communication. But I think if, like, a lot of kids that I sell horses to, and they get involved with a horse, it's a whole different kid because they have
Really?
responsibility and they have somebody to connect with.
Yeah.
And I like to see Erin, and I'm going to talk to Taryn, is she starts giving riding lessons and getting a horse, Taylor or Soldier, and another horse involved in her school curriculum, and she could use it as a award to some of the kids. If you're good today and do all your homework, I'll let you ride Taylor. And we did have a couple of kids ride Taylor. The one kid rode Taylor because my son doubled him. That was like 3-4 years ago. And it was kind of an interesting scene. But I think, and like the Hearties and the kids that are watching the show, they go, we want a horse or we want to ride a horse. Because you'd be surprised. I'll get actors that are 30 years old that never ever even touched a horse. And I'm looking, I'm going, you crazy? Like I've been in all my life. But there's people out there. But I just think it more experience with the kids getting communicated with the horses would be kind of a fun scene. Even if Erin went to the barn scene and said, kids, today we're going to learn a little bit about horses, how to feed them, clean the stalls, put the bridle on, brush them, pick up their shoe, look at their feet, stuff like that. I think it'd be kind of interesting. Other kids would see that and go, hey, Mom, I want to go see a horse. I want to go pet a horse.
Yeah.
You know, it's just something different. Get them away from their phones and their TVs and all this other stuff. Not so much TV because they got to see us, but get away from the phones, you know, and texting.
Highland, the little Jack, there was a video that the parents had that he was doing a riding lesson. So I didn't know that if you were involved with that, or is that just what they wanted to do?
They wanted to do, and they wanted to get them tied up the horses. Well, are you talking about the new one or the last
one? The new one.
Oh, the new one. Okay.
Yeah,
the new one is great. He loves horses. So anytime he comes to set, he's always petting them, and I'll sit him on, but he's always around the horses. The other two, there was only one of the twins that really liked horses, and the other one hated. Yeah, that was tough. But the new one, he's fantastic. He loves animals.
Yeah, he talked about the horsies. He loves.
Oh yeah, he really wants to be a horse guy. He's going to be good.
Yeah,
you know, I feel good. And hopefully Erin will get him, and we'll see him. We'll get him on Taylor. And see scenes with him on Soldier. Just even lead them around, stuff like that. It'll be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that just be heart-wrenching?
Yeah, I can't imagine. But I would love to have, you know, in that story, when we can see little Jack on Sargeant. That would be so great.
I think it'd be a huge, huge hit. And,
absolutely, yeah.
And even going in the stall and feeding, you know, Soldier and him, and he's always going to the stall, you know, or a scene as, where's little Jack? He's gone. And she goes to the barn, and there he is with Soldier. You know, him.
That's a good one.
The Soldier, and he's there feeding Soldier, and she's freaked out because he's left, but yet he's in the barn, and he's always. And you know, she would say something. You're just like your father was. You're always with this. You know, because the communication.
We'll all break our heart.
I was gonna say you're breaking hearts.
Daniel was with us. You know, Daniel was like that in real. Tell you, Daniel spent more time with us in the barn than he ever did. They were always coming to our barn and saying, Daniel, you got to go to set. I have to set. No, you got to go to the church, or you got to go to the, you know, to the cafe or wherever. But he was always hanging out in the barn. He goes, I like it in the barn here. I'm good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh my goodness. So many years, so many people. Oh, so good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very good.
We can't thank you enough for giving us so much of your time, and we appreciate it so much. And the Hearties have just been begging us to chat with you because they have so many questions.
No, I love it. It's awesome. I'll do it again anytime you guys want. It's great. Fantastic.
Oh, perfect. Well, thank you so much. And I'm hoping that we'll have the opportunity to see you soon.
Yes,
if we
betcha. I'm
get
hoping
to
that's it.
Vancouver. So,
Yeah.
Yes, hopefully soon we'll be seeing you guys.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Okay, well, you guys all take care and we'll see you soon.
All right.
Perfect.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
See you later. Bye-bye.